As the creator of the award-winning food blog Wood and Spoon that has been featured online and in print on Southern Living, Taste of Home, BuzzFeed, Martha Stewart, and more, Kate Wood previously released a Food and Faith 365-day devotional. Her second book, I Dream for You, is a children's book that celebrates the dreams a mother has for her child. So, hi, Kate. So glad that you're here.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm so grateful to be here.
So, how does one go from being a self-taught baker to, and a food blogger to writing a kid's book? Where did this come from?
Yeah, this was just kind of a natural progression. We have young kids in our home, and so while on the work front, it's very much cookies and cakes and pies and very food centric. At home, like our lives really include children, and we read a lot of books together, and our faith is the very biggest part of our life. And so this book, I Dream for You, kind of came out of that. It was actually inspired by my little girl who came into my room, or I woke her up one morning and she said, "Mom, I've made something for you." And she opened this picture, and it was a picture of she and I, and it said all sorts of stuff on it. But one of the lines on it said, "I've been dreaming for you." And that was kind of, yeah, it was this sweet origin story that really like touched my heart in a special way. Sometimes your kids do these things that really make an impression on you and stick with you. And so that's when I kind of started chewing on all the dreams I have for them. Because, I'm thinking, oh my goodness, Amy, you've been dreaming for me. If you only knew all of the dreams that I have for you. And that was kind of the birthplace for this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as a mom of three, talk about the power of a praying mom, because I think your kids are still pretty young, but man, are you going to be praying hard as they get older, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. This book really, well, use the word dream in it most often. What I'm really talking about are the prayers that we have for them, and they're powerful. It's so necessary. I don't know how people do it without prayer because every day motherhood is bringing me something that really needs prayer. And so, what I believe, just even with the short little few pages of this book, is that as you are praying and dreaming these things for your children, you're really speaking into their future and calling forth like really beautiful things for their lives. And I believe God hears all of our prayers. And so I'm just hoping and praying that as parents read this book to their children, they're really sowing in some beautiful things for their futures.
And I think we don't want to just be praying for our kids, but we want them to know what we're praying for them. Like you said, we're speaking into them. So how can this book actually be used to spark that conversation about their hopes and dreams and what you're praying for them?
Yeah. Oh, that's a great question. I don't you know like encouragement is just so powerful. I can remember even as a young kid, like a teacher saying something, calling out the good in me, and what an impact that made on my little heart. And so this book, I feel like, is a really great opportunity to say to your child, like, look at these gifts that you have in you. Like, to my son, like, oh, you're just so kind and patient. You really see the person that needs a friend, and God's using that in a beautiful way. And I know that I know that I know that that encourages him next time to look for the kid that needs a friend because he believes it's his gift. He's like, "Oh, I'm good at this. I'm equipped to do this." And it's like telling your kids, "Okay, it's safe to cross the street." It's almost like you're saying, "Okay, it's safe to step into this thing in your life, whether it be, kindness or joy or fun or like working hard and, pursuing your dreams." I think that there's a lot that parents can do just by calling out the good in them and saying like, this is what you can do. And so, yeah, I think this book is a really practical thing because as mothers and fathers and big sisters and best friends are reading this book, they can say, "Oh, that's just like you. You're like that too. God made that special thing in your heart also." And so it really does. You're right. It paves the way for conversations just about practical, everyday things that they're going to bump into all day long.
And I think too, it also tells them that they're worthy of big things and, beautiful things and successful things. Like they're worthy of that. There's a big future ahead.
Yeah, yeah. I think one of the things that someone pointed out to me is that what a great gift this would be, even for a child who maybe doesn't have that. Maybe there's a lack of connection with the parents, but there's a
Mm,
special person that can really speak life into them.
it's good.
And like your life has purpose, like your life, like your gifts have dignity and beauty and all of these things. Like it's really a practical tool, I believe.
Yeah.
And it just feels good to love on them in that way too. Selfishly, I'm like, I love to just tell them why I think they're wonderful. It's just
Yeah.
natural.
Now, this is obviously very intentional, but as I'm reading this is a dream from the mother to her child. It's very much God's dream for us. I mean, it even shifts in the words. I dream of you, then I dream for you, and you've got scripture references. So talk about sort of that faith tie-in and how important it is to have, scripture and God and to know more about him and what his dreams are for his children.
Yeah. That was something that was really important for me as we were writing this book because it's a short book. It's 27 pages. There's only a few words in it. And so what was important for me was whittling down what are the things I really, really long for my children. And one thing that we're always doing in our home is just looking at what God says about our lives and our futures and what he thinks about us because the world doesn't have any problem sharing its opinion about people and a lot of times we beat ourselves up about that, but more importantly in our home it's what does God have to say about that and what does God have to say about me. And so these scriptures, every page in the book, and I'll just show it to you too, but every page in the book correlates with the scripture that can be found in a scripture guide in the back of the book. And so it's just, again, another really practical tool while you're reading a rhymey stanza with colorful illustrations. It is really rooted in something that I believe is really powerful. And so I hope parents will utilize that to not just call it the good, but then be like, and this is why that's true. Like, this is what the Bible has to say about this specific topic.
It's actually a beautiful introduction for non-Christian families too, because it really is, things that a mom would pray or would say or dream, as I use the word dream. Yet, like you said, every line is biblically based. So I think parents who are looking for more scripture-based books, this is it. And then for families who are looking for something that's nice or maybe a seed plant, then this is that too.
Yeah, I hope so. That's a great point. Thank you for saying that because that would be my hope. Everybody gets their first little tiptoe into a lot of people, it's a very new thing. And so I hope that, if you know somebody that you just want to bless, I hope that that's something that they'll consider purchasing.
So I just want to ask this because I want to talk about the illustrations. There are characters with, specific abilities, disabilities, careers, skills very much represented in this book. Is anyone in particular represented in these pages? Like, did you have any people in mind?
Yeah. Okay. So great question. Because my children, when we first got the first hard copy, they were looking through it and they were so excited and they saw their name in the dedication and they were like, but where am I, Mom? Like which child am I? And they're like, is this me? She's got my hair color. Is this me? Well, his eyes look like mine, or is this me? And so they were trying to pinpoint. And I said, well, we really wanted everybody to get a glimpse of themselves in here, whether it's their skin color or their hair color or the activity that they're involved in the book. They've got a baseball bat. She's got ballet gloves. He's wearing glasses. He's got braces on his legs. Like we wanted people to catch a glimpse of themselves because I just think it's important that anyone that picks this up feels a little bit at home. And so while my children would love if every single picture looked exactly like them, the whole editorial team really felt like this was a no-brainer. It was the very best way to go. And I'm so glad that we did because my kids still pick it up and they're like, I think that one's supposed to be me. I'm like,
Love
sure.
it. Good.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So
It could be. Yeah.
Important for us.
Yeah. Okay. Final thought. Actually, the final words of the book. Can you explain them and just elaborate a bit more about what your message is here, where it says dreams are fueled by love?
Yeah. At the end of the day, I think the most important thing, if you take away everything else, like love is the gift that we get to give. We can share it with our children. It's the thing that's most important when we're here in this very short time on earth. And so, what I believe is just that, I'm dreaming for my children because I love them. If I didn't love them, I wouldn't spend time on my knees praying for them. And so, same thing with reading books. I wouldn't do these things for them if I didn't love them. And so dreams are fueled by love. The things that you hope for and you believe in for your children, like our motivation to press into those and really uncover them and help search them out with our kids it's love, because parenting is hard work. And so, whether you're a mom or a dad or a grandmother, a big sister, or a neighbor or teacher reading this to a child, you're doing it because you love them. And I hope that, the love, whoever it is that you love and can reach out and touch and grab with this book, I hope that people will be inspired to do that.
Bonus question, because your website really is fantastic. What is the website, and also your family's favorite recipe? I'm sure it's impossible to pick one. But is there like a go-to that the kids are always asking for that you can tell people who are listening and tuning in right now? Okay, search for this one on the website.
Yeah, so my website is thewoodandspoon.com, thewoodandspoon.com. Lots of baking and desserts. Their favorite are the chocolate chip cookie bars. Mostly just because, it's never not good. We usually have a very generous amount of salt on the top, just a little flaked sea salt, and it is perfect at the end of the day. The only disappointing thing, and it makes a huge pan, and I'd say the only problem is that they are so good that they just, like, we end up, you make them proceed with caution is what I'll say. They're just so delicious, and you can't leave any in there. So try the chocolate chip cookie bars if nothing else, because that's definitely a favorite in our house.
I love it. All right, Kate Wood, I dream for you. Thank you so much, Kate.
Thank you. Thank you.